Hey everybody, Rob Maurer here, and today we're talking about an important milestone for Tesla. Elon Musk has just tweeted out that Tesla today produced their 1 millionth vehicle as a company. So first of all, huge congratulations to Tesla for that milestone, and I wanted to take a look quickly at what that might mean for quarterly production. I've already gotten some questions on Twitter about this, so I figured I'd just make a quick standalone episode here to discuss that. Unfortunately, Tesla's quarterly production and delivery updates have not actually been a thing throughout Tesla's entire history, and even in their older earnings reports, they didn't necessarily share their production numbers every quarter. So there are 3 quarters back in 2013 that I'm missing production numbers for. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see those here, along with the rest of Tesla's production over the years. Now, these numbers don't include the Roadster, and I assume Elon is counting those in this million vehicle production number. So we have to add those in here. Tesla produced just shy of 2,500 Roadsters. And then the total production number that I have here for Model S, Model X, and Model 3, cumulatively, excluding those 3 quarters that are missing data, is about 900,600 vehicles. And then to fill in the gap for those 3 quarters, we can at least look at Tesla's deliveries over that period of time, and that should get us pretty close to production. Thankfully, the numbers at that time were much smaller than they are today, only about 5,000 per quarter. So the variances between production and deliveries were much smaller as well. Deliveries in those 3 missing quarters were 15,600. So adding that into the production numbers that we have, that's about 916,200 vehicles, plus the 2,500 Roadsters, gives us a cumulative production number to end the year 2019 before this quarter started of just about 918,650 vehicles. There will be a little bit of variance there, but I think that should be within a couple thousand vehicles, which should be pretty good for our estimating purposes here. That means to get to 1 million vehicles total, Tesla would have produced about 81,400 vehicles this quarter. So far, there have been 69 days in the quarter, so that would put Tesla's estimated daily production at about 1,180 vehicles. Q1 has 91 days, so if we take 1,180 and we just extrapolate linearly, which we'll talk more about in a second, because we shouldn't do that, but if we did, that rate would yield production for the quarter over those 91 days of 107,300 vehicles. Reflecting on that for a second, Tesla in its most recent quarter, Q4 of 2019, produced just shy of 105,000 vehicles, so this would mean production is actually tracking ahead of Q4, a record quarter for Tesla. The year-over-year comparisons are even better. Last year in Q1 of 2019, Tesla produced about 77,000 vehicles. So that 107,000 production number is already really strong, but as I said, that's from a linear extrapolation, which misses 3 important factors for Tesla this quarter. Those factors are the ramp-up that we're seeing from Gigafactory Shanghai, the ramp-up that we're seeing in Model Y, and the downtime that we've had due to the virus. So pending impacts of that could potentially exist or worsen into March, the outlook for production in March should be even higher than what we've seen so far quarter to date. We just got news over the weekend that production for Tesla out of Gigafactory Shanghai for the month of February was about 4,000 vehicles, and that included downtime up until February 10th, meaning that afterward production averaged 200 vehicles per day. So even just holding that constant through March should yield production of about 6,000, which already adds another 2,500 to 3,000 vehicles over linear extrapolation. And then we know Tesla's also working on bringing a second shift online, which should increase that rate further as we head through March, meaning maybe we could be looking at something more like 5,000 vehicles above that linear extrapolation rate. In terms of Model Y, it's a little less clear right now, but it seems like production may be around that 1,000 vehicle level. Maybe we tack on 500 to 1,000 there for Model Y above the linear rate, and we could be looking at, instead of about 107,000 extrapolating linearly, maybe somewhere around 113,000 for the quarter. Now, deliveries are going to lag behind production this quarter almost certainly. Last year in Q1, there were some extenuating circumstances, but that being said, Tesla produced almost 14,000 more vehicles than they delivered. And then over the next 3 quarters, they proceeded to drain inventory by delivering more than they produced. So I would expect another sort of stock up period here. And while I don't necessarily expect to see the same variance as last year's Q1, it wouldn't shock me to see 10,000 more vehicles produced than delivered. That particular piece of this is very difficult to predict. So if production was 113,000 vehicles, deliveries between 103,000 and 108,000, let's say, would not surprise me. Tesla delivered about 112,000 vehicles in Q4, so in that range would put us down sequentially versus Q4, which is already the expectation, and that overproduction sets up Tesla nicely for the rest of the year and should not be surprising because every single Q1 in Tesla's history, they've produced more than they have delivered. So the more apt comparison for this quarter is year over year. Last year, Tesla delivered 63,000 vehicles in Q1. If we say about 105,000 this year in Q1, that's a 66% increase year over year. So with this tweet from Elon, I think that gives us a pretty good idea at where the quarter is headed, and I think there may be some upside beyond that if Gigafactory Shanghai really clicks in March. And depending on what we see develop here over the next couple of weeks with both Model Y as well as just production uptime with this health scare. Let me know in the comments below what you think production and deliveries will be for Q1, but that'll wrap it up for this episode. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Twitter at Tesla Podcast, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.